welcome to our City of Winooski virtual town hall. I am Mayor Christine Lott here with City Manager Jesse Baker, coming to you from our homes to provide some updates and take any questions if there are. Before we dive in, just wanted to remind folks that while we are maybe not this weekend, but starting to experience nicer weather and having some reduction in restrictions on socialization to maintain safe social distancing, wear your mask when it's appropriate, protect folks that are in high-risk populations, and stay close to home. So while we are maybe allowed to get out a little more, we still need to take precautions. We're not out of the woods yet. We wanted to host this town hall specifically to share about an emergency ordinance we passed in order to provide some relief options to Winooski residents and businesses around property tax payments and utility bills. So the City Council at our April 20th meeting passed an emergency ordinance, which included extending the due date of water and sewer payments from May 15 to June 15, delaying any late penalty and interest on those payments for 30 days. So if you miss the June 5th, if you are unable financially to make the June 15 deadline, there'll be another 30 days before there are any penalties for that. Similarly, we want to add some relief on tax payments, which are also due on May 15th. We don't have the authority to change that date or waive interest, so we are waiving any late penalties for 30 days. So that's till June 16th, and waiting for potentially legislation was passed through the State House that might allow us to waive interest or have some more flexibility there. We're waiting for the governor to sign that act and then see what our options are there. Jesse, would you like to add any details to our ordinance update?
Sure, thank you. And hello, everybody from my home on Weaver Street. We wish we were out in the Rotary this Friday evening talking with you all, but this will do for now. So the other thing to highlight that the council was very concerned about when they adopted this emergency ordinance was that there is not a need to demonstrate any proof of financial hardship in order to delay these payments. The council really was interested in lowering those barriers. So you don't need to give us proof of unemployment or anything like that. We will assume that any payment that is delayed in quarter 4 in this last quarter of the fiscal year is due to COVID-19 and will not accrue the interest or penalties until the later dates for the water bills. The caveat to that, or the gentle request for that, is that if you are able to pay, we would really appreciate if you could continue to pay on time. We do have, our essential services are continuing, both at the school district, the public safety, public infrastructure. Our leadership team continues to work. So to the extent that you are able to pay, we'd appreciate it. But if you are not, you don't need to show us anything. Just pay when you can. If you are on Zoom live with us in the chat feature, our communications coordinator, Paul Sarn, has posted the website where you can find more details to the emergency ordinance. If you are viewing this later on, that can be found at winooskivt.gov /COVID-19, or click on the button at the top of the homepage. I think that is all from the emergency ordinance side of things.
I was just going to add that folks can call City Hall if they have questions. That's 655-6410, and open hours are 7:30 to 4:30 Monday to Friday. Is someone still answering that line, Jesse?
Yes, somebody is at City Hall all the time during work hours. Yep.
Excellent.
Two things I do want to make sure we call out. One is the last part of the emergency ordinance was about tax sales. So tax sales are the process we go through very rarely when folks don't pay their property taxes for a long period of time. Through this emergency ordinance, the council has guided us to discontinue all tax sale processes through all of fiscal year 21. So that will be through June of next year. So again, trying to ensure that we're not kicking people out of their homes during this pandemic and really caring for others. Final part I wanted to know is that we have really been very thankful that many of our neighbors have opted to pay their property taxes online and their water sewer bills online. Many have also signed up for direct debit. So they have given us their bank information and we go in and pull out the payments on the due dates. If you have signed up for that and for whatever reason want to discontinue that for this payment cycle, just call the number their mayor gave, or you can email our finance director, and that's listed on our website at this emergency ordinance information. So again, that if you want to discontinue your direct deposit or your direct debits, the phone number is 655-6410. Thanks.
So this is one of the ways that we are trying to meet people's needs locally during this pandemic. Like I said, we are waiting for action from the governor on the interest piece of property tax payments. Should he sign that bill into law, allowing us to have some leeway there, we would take that up at council and make a decision about what we can do there too to help out. We are always interested in creative solutions. In addition to this effort, we have revamped our small business loan program and are taking applications from local businesses who are needing quick cash while they're, waiting for those other federal and state subsidies in order to help out. And on a lighter note, I just want to call attention to the green heart you can see there in Jesse's office. I have one as well. It's a little harder to see. This is part of the Winooski with Love campaign. A lot of folks are posting these around town and in their homes to show that we are together in this and we are supporting each other. I'd like to recognize, I've just seen a lot of community support happening. I was actually at JJ's Corner Market, the donation drop off on the west side of town for the Winooski food shelf, and saw a significant amount of food goods there, and pleased to see people stepping up to help out. Similar to how we're asking if you can make your tax payments on time, please do to keep services moving forward. If you're able to help out in other ways in the community, there are many ways. We have a volunteer link on our website, winooskivt.gov, where we can connect you with an opportunity that suits you. I want to come back to the sort of loosening of the spigot, so to speak, and being able to have a little bit more outdoor activities. I know we updated our parks guidance today, Jesse, so I wonder if you can share some more details about that.
Sure, thank you. So following the governor's guidance earlier in the week about reopening some recreational opportunities for our residents, today we announced the following steps. So these steps are still taken with the caveats that if you are sick or have been exposed to somebody who has tested positive for COVID-19, please do stay home and take care of yourself. It's a way you can take care of yourself, but also take care of all of your Winooski neighbors. All of these changes also maintain the physical distancing requirement of 6 feet from others not in your immediate family, and gatherings of no more than 10 people are allowed. We're really encouraging people. We have over 190 acres of open space in our city. We're really encouraging people to get out and use those as the weather improves, but really take a arrive, play, and leave approach. So take a walk with your family, throw a ball around, play tennis, go to the skate park, but then leave and let others make use of it as well. So changes that go into effect as of today. So the tennis nets are back up at the tennis courts in Landry Park. The skate park is now open as well, again, with no more than 10 people present at one time. The softball field is open for informal use. Again, groups of 10 or fewer. However, there will be no, per the governor's guidance, there will be no leagues or organized events. So that's really meant for families to get out and throw a ball around, things like that, but no formal organized events. We will not be installing at this time portalets at Landry Park as we have done in prior years. Because of the no organized event and the cleanliness requirements, it's not feasible at this time. That is something we may look at in the weeks to come as the spigot opens more. Continuing with the governor's guidance, the no contact sports and playground access, but our playgrounds and our basketball courts are remaining closed at this time. Again, that may change in the weeks to come. The dog park is open, and we encourage folks to use that with a limit of 10 creatures per use at this point. We all are encouraging all human creatures to wear masks while they are in the dog park, if possible, just because of the proximity. Our community gardens are open and available for those who have signed up. Again, please limit congregation in the gardens of groups of no more than 10, physical distance, wear masks, etc. We do have signage going up today in all of our parks and open space as well, with guidance, as well as translated materials for all of our neighbors, just so we can get out the message as widely as possible. Again, these are ways that we can protect ourselves and protect our neighbors at the same time while making use of the beautiful Vermont weather and all the amenities Winooski has to offer. If you have...
You mentioned masks. That is something that is still a practice we need to be doing. I heard that we are partnering with Vermont Teddy Bear on an initiative. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, thank you. So as people may have read in the news, Vermont Teddy Bear has set a goal of creating 125,000 cloth masks for Vermont. They're already well into that goal, but our community services team, Olivia and Ray, have partnered with them to provide this opportunity for our community. So what this means, and we'll be officially announcing this with lots of contact information and things on Monday, but to give people a sneak peek. So the Vermont Teddy Bear Company has put together mask kits. So it includes the elastic you need, and it includes the cloth you need to make the CDC approved masks. Volunteer sewers will need a sewing machine at home and thread at home. If folks are interested in this, you can contact Olivia at the city. Her email address is omiller@winooskivt.gov, or of course sign up to be a volunteer through our regular sign-up channels. You will be sent these teddy bear kits. You make them at home. When you're done with them, you drop them off at the library in the book drop box, and we will take them from there. The advantage of this for us not only is helping to protect Vermonters and participating with this great Vermont company, it's also that we get to keep some of the masks that are made locally here locally. We are anticipating that as the governor continues to turn the spigot and we open up city buildings, that it will be required for all people, all the public members entering the city buildings to themselves wear masks. We really want to make sure that that is not putting a new hindrance on folks to participate in city government. So those masks that our neighbors make here in Winooski, we will be keeping enough of those so they will be available to folks to have when they want to come to and do business in the city and don't already have their own mask. So more to come on that on Monday, but huge thanks to Olivia Miller and the Community Services Department and Vermont Teddy Bear Company for launching that initiative.
That's great. It's really important to keep things accessible to everyone in the community and make sure that we're able to provide services to everybody. I've seen a lot of other local folks working on masks, and I hope everyone can join together to make sure that we have a decent supply for all of our residents. Are there, on the note about outdoor activities, I know that we are allowed to have a little bit more construction crew at the pool. My understanding is we still aren't clear on that timeline, though. We're still waiting to see how things play out.
Yeah, so the challenge, so construction has, with the recent turning of the spigot, construction has restarted at the pool. Starting Monday, the construction crews will be able to work at full scale there. The challenge, quite frankly, right now on pool construction is that specifically the pool subcontractor, the contractor who's actually building the pool, not the building, but the pool, is an out-of-state contractor. So to enable him to come in from out of state and have somewhere to stay and not have to quarantine when he goes back is a huge challenge that we with the construction company are currently trying to work out. That is a mission critical current piece of the construction schedule. So there are other things that can't happen in construction until that is solved. So while we are continuing work at the pool site, that is our current challenge. We have not yet set an opening date. We hope to do that in the next month or so, but it is unclear right now whether that will be this swim season. And quite frankly, the governor also has not indicated yet whether public swimming access will be allowed statewide or not yet.
Right, yeah. So the news is we are moving forward as best we can, but we can't say yet when that's going to open and what that will look like.
Yep.
Similarly, I heard today the governor announced that he anticipates childcare opening on June 1st. I think that's great news for everyone, and look forward to seeing how that plays out for camps and things of that nature. I know it's brand new news, so we don't have anything probably to share from staff, but that's something that I imagine we'll be looking into.
Yeah, we don't have specifics on that yet, but certainly with the governor's announcements today about camp, we anticipate running Thrive this summer. We may try and open that a week or two early just because folks are also challenged with having young people at home. So much more to come on that. Thrive will be an option this summer for Winooski residents.
That's great news. I know I've heard from a lot of folks. It'll be critical for them to be getting back to work and getting some sense of normalcy. And I'm sure it'll be great for kids to interact with some of their peers from outside of their own home.
Absolutely.
Are there any other particular city essential services or function updates that you have to share?
Sure. I'd like to share just a couple more, and then I do see we have some folks on the phone if others have questions, but a few quick other updates from the city. One, we are continuing our senior meals program, and that is accessible to all folks 60 and older, regardless of income status. So if you're interested in that, please be in touch with the Senior Center. They can sign you up for that. Two, kind of a silly update, but I just love it, is speaking of Thrive, our Thrive director has set up a caterpillar cam in her home. If you are interested, you can go to our recreation page. It's available from 9:30 to 7 every day, and you can watch the caterpillars as they go through their development process. And she tells some great stories about being at home, working, and hearing our young neighbors kind of come in via Zoom and watch the caterpillars for a few minutes and go out. So a little bit of fun entertainment and learning opportunity for kiddos. On somewhat of a less fun note, just a friendly reminder to please lock your cars. We are seeing definitely a string of folks who are struggling, who are rooting around in unlocked cars overnight. So to protect your belongings, please do remember to lock your cars. And then finally, again, as the weather warms up and you have a backyard fire pit, friendly reminder to please submit your fire pit permit. You can do that through our website, winooskivt.gov. And the drop down, how do I find a permit? It's listed there. This is really helpful for us because many of our neighbors now, have more open windows as the weather gets warmer and we want air to circulate. And when they smell smoke outside and call the police department, it's really helpful to know when there's a fire pit in their vicinity. We had a number of calls about that last weekend and are trying to ease people's concern about that. So those are our big updates, but I would love to know if we have any other questions.
If you're on the line and have a question, you can either unmute yourself or you will find, if you click on participants at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you can raise your hand using a button in the corner.
You can also, I believe, use the chat function and ask a question as well.
Yes.
Yes. Paul, our fantastic community or communications coordinator, is on the phone or on the Zoom with us as well. Paul, have you seen any questions come in that you can put in the chat box?
No questions as of yet, but we are also archiving this video through Channel 17, so we'll make that available on the city's website and part of our next update. So if anybody has any other questions, they can email me directly, communications@winooskivt.gov, or either of you directly.
Yeah, if you're not aware, my contact information and all the members of the council are also on winooskivt.gov. So I can be reached at mayor@winooskivt.gov via email. And I also can be reached at 802-766-1988 if anyone has questions, concerns, something they want to learn about. We are all available.
So while the mayor reads these questions coming in, I'll also say that, again, just to reiterate, the City Hall contact is 655-6410. My direct email is Jessie Baker, jbaker, BAKER, @winooskivt.gov.
So I do see a question in the chat about, at the City Council on Monday, we received a proposed resolution asking for the suspension of all F-35 activity during the pandemic period. We did not pass that resolution through. However, I have been in contact with leadership at VTANG and have shared the concerns of our residents in the increase in noise, in the fact that folks are home more now than ever, and just experiencing that more than they have before. We hope to hear back soon and be able to share some information out with the community. We have, in a couple weeks ago, we got a statement that we added to our website where they shared their, I guess, plans that while they are providing pandemic assistance to move forward with their regularly scheduled operations. So that was a couple weeks ago, and now we've had some additional communication just to make sure that if there's anything we can do to potentially reduce noise or help folks out. On that note, I would also like to add that we are still in contact with the Burlington Airport on the noise compatibility program and trying to move forward with getting FAA funding to help folks do mitigation on their homes. That process is still on track. I think, trying to remember offhand, I believe it's this summer that we anticipate the program being approved by the FAA and then starting to try to get those funds together. So I've been in contact with, Mayor Weinberger in Burlington and also with the city of South Burlington as we try to work together as partners alongside the airport and making sure that program goes through and our residents can get some mitigation at some point in the near future, I hope. We did mention the pool. Maybe we could touch on some other capital projects. I know we received an update on Main Street revitalization, I think right before the shutdowns began. I just want to share that we have been in the design phase on that project. That's still happening. The funding for the design, that work is already funded. And the existing timeline has us making a decision in the fall about how to progress with that work. So I think we're fortunate that we have time to see how things play out in this scenario before we have to make a decision there or commit to anything. We also have the downtown garage and potential hotel work. That is also still in the developing phase and just moving forward on track. And again, we still have time. We won't have to make critical decisions until later down the line, later this year. So we're sort of fortunate there, I would say. Jessie, you shared a finance update with us on Monday as well. Do you want to give a quick overview to the community?
Sure. So in response to the pandemic, communities across the country, Winooski is very much like all other communities in a sense, are seeing a significant loss in revenues. Here in Winooski, what that means is we are seeing obviously a loss in parking revenues. We are seeing a loss in local options tax revenues as our business community is shut down. We are seeing a loss in program fees as we're not currently running programs. And we're unsure right now what delinquency rate we're going to see in property tax and water and sewer payment revenues. So with the amazing work of our staff team, we put into place some financial mitigation measures right away to make sure that we could buffer ourselves from some of those revenue losses. So we curbed all non-essential expenditures. We do currently have 22 staff on furlough, staff who are either non-essential or who cannot do their work from home. We are looking to start with, as the governor turns the spigot, we are looking to start bringing some of those folks back because they do provide important services that the community values. They just were not able to work before. So with those financial mitigation measures, we are on track. We have some modeling to suggest that we are on track to end this fiscal year not in too much trouble, I guess I should say, not too much in the red. Again, that depends on how many of our neighbors are able to pay their property tax payments. So assuming about a 5% delinquency rate, which is significantly higher than we saw with the 2008 downturn of the economy, we will be ending the fiscal year only about $10,000 in the red, which for a $13 million budget, I think is pretty successful. I think it's important to note the difference between the ending the year from a budgetary perspective and then ending the year from a cash flow perspective. So our finance director, Angela Aldere, has done masterful work freeing up some cash for us. So do not anticipate any cash flow problems this fiscal year. We are prepared. Actually, I just approved today for the council's warrant on the 18th, the final payment to the Winooski School District. We believe we have enough cash on hand to meet that requirement, as well as all of our payroll obligations and other debt obligations. So from a cash perspective, we are fine. From a budget perspective, we believe through our modeling that we will end the year successfully. We are starting to pay attention to FY21 with some of the decisions made at the state very appropriately to protect our residents. It is likely our tax bills will be delayed this year because of the delayed tax filing deadline for state taxes. They will not be able to set the education rate and the homestead rates or homestead benefit until later in July. So as we move into FY21, we will be very carefully watching not only that cash flow, but also the budgetary impacts.
Thank you for that recap. And just want to acknowledge there's a lot of hard work that you and staff have done to keep us in a solid position, and certainly a lot of sacrifice for those employees who have been on furlough and have not been working. And so we really want to appreciate them and recognize that. And just to be clear, the fiscal year ends in July, right? And so there's still a lot of unknowns for predicting out further this year. We are almost at time, but I did catch one more question in the chat about Hickox Street. I believe that the water underground work is done, right? And we intend to move forward with the street and surface work this year. Is that right, Jesse?
Yes. So currently, great question. Currently out to bid is the repaving and sidewalk work. We will be slip lining the sewer lines this summer, but that's very quick work and doesn't involve excavation. And then repaving the street this summer. That is a multi-year project that is fully funded in our current budget and is really important for that neighborhood. That street is definitely a very low pavement condition index. Has some water runoff challenges. So hopefully that will be a big improvement to the neighborhood after this summer. We had done a lot of public outreach last year during that construction project and intend to do very similar outreach to the extent we can given the pandemic. this year. So residents will absolutely know when that construction work is scheduled to start. As I said, the bid documents are on the street right now, and we anticipate awarding that contract early June.
Thank you for that update. I believe we are at time, so I really appreciate your time today and sharing information, the folks who have been able to join us, and great questions being asked. And just hope everyone stays safe, and feel free to reach out if you need anything.
One other thing, Mayor, I just want to take the moment to also recognize our moms. I know me personally and the mayor as well come from really strong women, and there are a lot of really strong mothers in our community as well. So as we look towards Mother's Day on Sunday, just happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there in Winooski, and my mom in particular.
Great point. I'm gonna have to send this video to my mother.
There you go.
Well, thank you everyone for your time, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.